If you've ever had to deal with uncertainty or a feeling of chaos in your life, then I really hope that you will listen to this episode because I've got a message that I really want to share with you. That's today on The Art of Lifing with Keka. A few months ago, my mom went through a health crisis where we literally were taking her to the hospital in an ambulance. And I am really grateful and thankful to report that she's doing much better and has made a recovery and is back to normal. But, in that moment when I was experiencing that crisis, that I would call it, there were some moments where I was really scared, where didn't know what was going to happen in the future. And we talk so much about happiness and being purposeful in the art of lifing on this channel, but life happens sometimes, and there are things that can happen where you have no control. And certainly that was a moment I had no control. But the really crazy part about that experience was that 20 years ago, literally in 1999, my mom had gotten sick at one point, and we'd taken her to the hospital thinking that she just had a bad cold and maybe something with her lungs that some antibiotics could fix. But it turned out she was much sicker than that. She had had bronchial pneumonia, and they ended up keeping her in the hospital for several weeks. And her health had taken a turn for the worse, and she had come very close to dying at that time. So much of what happened to me recently with my mom almost felt like a deja vu, from 20 years ago. And perhaps it's life experience, perhaps it's looking at life in a different way. But the one thing that I realized when I was going through this a couple of months ago was that I have finally come to a place in my life where I feel like there are things that we can do with intention, and there are things that happen in life that we have no control over. The difference for me in terms of what happened 20 years ago versus what I was going through now was that 20 years ago I had this complete sense of total chaos. That, when my mom was sick and we didn't know what was going to happen, I felt this internal chaos inside of me where I wanted to do something. I wanted to take control. I wanted the outcome to be something different. I almost wanted to will the outcome to be different. But this time around, I recognized that I can only do as much as I can do. There's only so many things that are in my control, and then everything else is going to happen as it's supposed to happen. And what I realized is that, when we go through difficult periods of our time, when we feel uncertainty or we feel disbalanced or we feel a sense of chaos, if we can take a step back for a moment and really analyze what it is that we can control and do, and then let the things that we cannot control go, it suddenly takes that feeling of chaos away. And that's really what happened for me, was that when I realized that my mom is sick, we're going to do everything we can to help her, but at the end of the day, there are certain things I just cannot control. I let go of that, and it made all the difference for me. And over the last period of time, as we've been developing this Art of Lifing journey, it's a part of me that I feel like I really need to give to the world. I just feel this need to share, but I feel like I'm in the right place. And so when things happen that don't go my way, or a particular plan that I have sort of blows up or goes in a different direction, or anytime I find myself in a difficult circumstance, I keep reminding myself, everything is happening for a reason. What are the lessons we can take away from this? And when you're feeling chaos and uncertainty, quite often I think that we stop looking for the lessons. And that to me is the biggest difference that I feel today when I look at being on this Art of Lifing journey and doing life on purpose, doing it on my own terms. The biggest thing I think about is when something difficult is happening, I start to ask myself, what are the lessons in here that the universe is trying to tell me? What is it that I need to look at differently? I get much more introspective, and the sense of chaos goes away, and I become much more analytical. Now, life has its ups and downs, and things are not always going to be rosy. That's just part of the way that we are living. But the message that I wanted to share with you today is that if you're finding yourself in that sense of chaos or a sense of uncertainty, maybe it's worth just taking a step back and asking yourself, what is the lesson that I'm supposed to draw from this in this moment? Because when you start looking at it that way, the imbalance that you feel and the uncomfortableness sometimes can pass. It can get better. It can be much easier. And in the process, there are lessons we can take away and apply in other areas of our life. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed the content, then please like it and share it with anybody that you think might be interested in this content as well. I would also love it if you could subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos every Tuesday. And last but not least, if you have any comments, I would love to have a conversation with you. Let's do this journey together. Let's master the art of lifing and really do life on purpose.